Good morning. Thank you so much for the kind words. And I see that there are a few people who are coming in. I've been said that I have to stick to my time of half an hour. I just have a couple of questions even before I get started. How many of you have already tried agents? Please raise your hand. Brilliant. How many days did it take for you to build an agent? Average? 5 days, 1 day, 1 hour? You can shout it out if I'm sure I'll be able to hear you. I have built agents and I've built them in less than 10 minutes. And I'll show you how. And that's what is my session today. No code agentic AI on top of your enterprise data, which is sitting in Snowflake, being presented to you. Hi, I'm Sarita Priyadarshini. I'm a senior solution engineer with Snowflake, and I'm super happy and excited to be here at Cypher 2025. I hope you too are. So let's get started with some basics of what are required for agentic AI, and these are all academic knowledge, yeah? And what we will also go ahead with is a demo, where is a demonstration, where I'll show you how Snowflake Intelligence actually works. So what do we have is a complex puzzle today, which is how do I bring in my data from separate apps, from separate platforms? That's one of the challenges which we have to solve for when we are talking about the jigsaw puzzle. The second thing is, I do want to know how did my product perform? How do I stand against a competition which I had built? Why are my numbers in my western part of the country lesser than my southern part of the country? Why are my global sales numbers not matching my forecasted values? These are some of the questions which are very, very important for business. And you must have heard all of these questions being asked to you, or reports being generated, KPIs being driven around these numbers. So this is the second thing which we have to think about, that is, I got the data, I need to find out a KPI and start with finding deeper insights. Third, I want a developer to only have the access to a certain amount of data. How do I have or implement complete governance or a access pattern which is permissible as per my industry and my company? The fourth, how do I control my users from spending too much? The fourth challenge, which is just to avoid any kind of rampant usage around the AI. How can I see this in dashboards? How can I get my insights on time? Then comes three things which actually work in together to build these solutions. From knowledge to insights. And that is one, which is the most important part, is search. I want to search across all of my data set, where is, let us say, sales data, or where is, let us say, my products data. Or I want to find out from the internet or the web search about a specific product. The second is knowledge. Sometimes the knowledge comes from other sources with the help of APIs. I'm sure 100% of this audience is engineers. I don't need to explain what those are. With APIs. Or what happens next? Once these APIs would be stopped in the industry, which is now gaining a lot of momentum, you would need devices to bring in data through either marketplaces, which are called as data marketplaces, or you would have to find out a way how you can bring your data from your Google ads, LinkedIn ads, your Meta ads, your databases, which are like Postgre, MySQL, or data sources like SharePoint or Box or Gmail. So this is where the knowledge comes in, which is what of the data. The third piece is insights. Why? Why did my sales drop? And this is the most important quotient out here. because of which we have to work towards all KPIs, data-driven, and all of that. Then comes the data agents. You gathered the data. Now you have understood your data. You did it. You went through the entire life cycle of exploratory data analysis. And then how do I make any sense out of the data is coming through the data agents. And many of the use cases which are coming up in the industry are brand and product planning, supplier management, customer support, insurance underwriting, retail order management, and a couple of others. This is what Glenn Walker tells us about Luminate data, that it is as easy as bringing in both structured and unstructured data here. Just taking a pause to explain the structured and unstructured while you go through all the use cases which are possible today to be implemented on top of Snowflake. Structured data is the data which sits on our tables. Is that right? Yes or no? Yes. What is unstructured data then? Unstructured data, guys? Yeah, PDFs, JPGs, PNGs, yeah? Yes. Thank you so much. And that unstructured data, if you look at the iceberg, the tip is structured, the rest is unstructured. For example, your insurance documents, your MOU documents, your healthcare documents, your governance or government documents, how many bank documents have you filled in till today? How many on-paper documents have you filled in today? Till today. And all of them are lying somewhere as an unstructured data set, which is now in the know-how of being processed. Earlier, we did not have that option, and now we do have that. So that is where you could have your voice data, the call center data coming in. You could have your identification of a certain image to understand whether there was an accident or there were no accidents in the domain of insurance. You could enhance your customer service by understanding the conversation that you're having and then classifying that text by saying that this is because, for example, you had a food delivery. He tells you the food was great, but the biryani was cold. Now you can find out categorically, he is telling that the taste was not bad, but it was cold. You can find out why did it happen so. Did the delivery time increase between the hotel and the place, and then how do we optimize the same? Analyze complex documents. I just now told you the documents that we have filled throughout our life, and we can analyze them. How do we do that? With the help of building an application or an interface. User and role access controls to be available on top of it. Aggregating data from various sources, and agentic capabilities where you can drive insights. So these are the 4 areas, guys, and what I'm going to tell you in the next couple of slides is around these 4, how you can aggregate, how you can use the same to build your robust agentic systems. And thus comes the Snowflake Intelligence. What does it do and what does it mean for you at the end of the day is, you had your data, which is structured and unstructured both, which you can now bring into Snowflake, and you can have your KPIs, you can build your complete features on top of it, and you can make a semantic model from the same and build an intelligence system which can tell you about how, what, and why of the data. This also has the positive impact of having all governance on top of it. Like, who accesses that data till when? All of this is also implemented on top of Snowflake Intelligence. So without much ado, what I will do is, we will just say a hello to Snowflake Intelligence. So what I'll do is, I'll go to, so this is my Snowflake UI, very lovingly called as Snowsite. And this is an example of the Snowflake Intelligence. I've got the option of choosing an agent right here on the screen. Yeah. And what I can do is I can choose which one do I want to go for. For example, I want to show you the product insights. I have built a product called Aura X, and what I'm trying to understand is it has got numbers in sales and revenue, etc. I want to find out how is my sales happening. So I'll just ask a question, and I'm going to make it as non-specific as I can. And you have to understand that this chat GPT kind of interface that you are looking here is actually built on top of the data which is sitting in your database, whether structured or unstructured. I'll also show you the agents which are pushing this particular insight. I am getting my structured data from my tables, which has got the product information, and I am getting my unstructured data, that is the feedback on the data, like the product, from my Slack channels. I could have also brought in something like context or a knowledge extension from, let us say, Salesforce or any other source of data, and I could have also added that to the agent. But for now, for this demo, that is not the case. As you saw, it thought through the entire process and tries to give me that the total sales during the time is this. And gone are the days when I would have had to do a BI on top of my data set. You saw that I can generate a graph right on the fly. Yeah? I have stopped asking please after I heard that OpenAI spends a lot of money on please, thank you, and hello. So, yeah, compare the actual and forecasted sales values. Let us say, I want to understand that what was, did I forecast any value? Yes, forecasting functions are also available on top of Snowflake. You can do a ML forecasting. ML function called forecast exists today, or you can write your own forecast mechanisms. So I have done actual sales, I have taken it. I had also taken a forecasted value from my data set. Now I am trying to do what is called as the forecasting comparisons. And what I'm trying to find out here is there something which can show me the data set that I have used, which gives me the relevant details. As you can again see, this is for example, it is going through the entire setup. It is writing a SQL query, and it is also thinking about what are the things that could be relevant as a KPI for this particular data set. And after the same, after it has thought through that answer, again, the point to be noted is it is not going to any other API to bring the SQL, to run the SQL, and there's no jump, there's no hop. So you have generated the SQL. Now it tells me that this is the performance pattern, this is a line graph, this is the actual data, which you are seeing here in terms of the blue line, and the yellow one is the forecasted sales. What if I want to understand? Can you tell me, do the comparison as per region? I want to understand that in which region was my forecasted value much higher than my actual numbers. Let us be specific. And with that, let us ask a question around why. Because insights are more important for the business than just showing you a comparison, right? So what I have done is, let us divide it. Let us make it answer our question around regions. I hope, our internet is supporting me, and we will be able to get the answers as we are looking for. Again, just going through, it has gone through your data set, it has gone to your tables, generated the KPIs, understood that there are 4 categorical regions. It is now showing me the data set from those regions, understanding the key regional insights. It tells me West region underperformance. Yeah, it tells me that there is a consistent regional challenges, and there are sales volumes visualizations, and you get the graph. Yeah? You get the graph which tells you that the west section of your country was what was having the least actual sales. That doesn't matter to me. I can see that from a number, right? That's what you would be thinking. What's big in that? Let's do this. Why? This is one part of the question. Why was my sales lesser? That's one of the questions. I will also ask the question, what can I do to make the sales better? So this is the insight, that is the change that we are driving. And this is the insight that the agentic AI should be able to answer us. The way that we are progressing and the way where we are going, we just do not need a comparative number. We want this why question, what question, how question to be answered for us to make a decision. So now, if you see here, it is taking my structured and unstructured data. You see all those feature request rest and all of that. That is the data that is coming from Slack. It is doing a complete analysis of one, my data which is sitting on tables, and two, the data which I have provided as a feedback from my Slack mechanism to find out what happened here. And it tells me significantly lower marketing engagement because it saw that the marketing numbers were lesser, substantially lower inventory levels. So inventory is less, I sell less, right? And third, the marketing campaign performance had some issues. And fifth was inventory management issues. And all of these actually led to, and you saw right now, I did not give any input to it. It did the analysis, ran those queries, did a comparison, also went into feedback which I was gathering, and then came up with the sales performance numbers, that why did it happen so, and the root cause analysis, because you had less inventory, lesser marketing budget, lesser place where you could, the investment was happening. That is why the West region was lacking behind. What can I do to make it better is the last question. I have seen and run demos where, in the meantime, when it is loading, we have asked questions like, can you tell me which are the locations from where I can get full truckload of cement? Which area or which vendor of mine, and this is a large infrastructure firm, right? Which vendor, and they have got thousands of vendors, okay? So which vendor of mine in India has the lowest price per full truckload of cement, okay? And it found that out. I'll not tell the name, and I will not tell the name of the infrastructure company. I'm sorry, I'm bound by secrecy. But then came the question, if this is the vendor who has the best price performance, then how much time can you calculate from this, but instead of Vadodara, if I can get it from Indore, then how much fuel price will be applied to bring the same full truck from Baroda versus Indore to Mumbai, because I want to use it here, right? Then came the question, what are the other things that I can store in the long term, and in which warehouse should I store so that my forecasting values or my long-term investments are safe? All of those questions and all of those insights can be brought out. You have just now seen that what can I do to make it better gives you the answer of your immediate actions in 0 to 20 days, in the next quarter, in the next short-term and long-term run. For example, increase your marketing budget, increase your inventory, do some more campaigns in this space, also have the people know about the product, and a couple of other things. So this is what Snowflake Intelligence is for you guys as a demo. What does it stand? And I wanted to do that before I get the red marker. So now coming back to the theoretical portions, right? Which is, what do these agents do? You just now saw multiple things working together to give you the insights, right? And all of you are engineers, this is what happens. You do the planning. It did the planning, you saw that. You had the track details, the tool use. Multiple tools can be brought in together, and multiple LLMs are being orchestrated or stitched in so that you can drive this. What is important for these enterprise agents is you have got large language models. I did not run you through how these orchestrations are happening. Maybe in the next 5 minutes I will be there. Large language models on top of Snowflake, which could be from Anthropic or Meta or Mistral or OpenAI. All of them are available for you. This is a true model garden approach. GPT-5 was available on a Thursday in the open market, and it was available within the next 6 hours on top of Snowflake. So this is the pace at which we are implementing LLMs and bringing in the model gardens, trees and plants. The second one was the retrieval, that is the context which you are looking for. And third is the insights. You just now saw why did it happen, what can I do? So those are the third pieces where comes the insights. What is an agent? I think I'm going back. Okay. The three important things which every engineer, every businessman wants before they go in and make a decision of building these agents is how accurate is it? You just now saw the accuracy. It answered the queries, it just did not do a comparison. It told you what was happening in the background. Second is trust and security. Who accesses what data till when is a very, very important clause out here. My developers should not be able to see my PII data, whereas others can. My country lead should be able to do that. He should be able to see the around the world's data, but my regional leader should only be able to see the regional data. All of those implementations are right now possible. Governed data access, right? Now, I'm just connecting the dots together, taking 5 more minutes to tell you what all went behind that Snowflake Intelligence setup so that you could see those things. First is Cortex Analyst. What is that? It is a mechanism with which you are able to read your structured data sitting on top of your tables, to customize your data, understand your insights with the help of your LLMs, and then also add verified queries to get more information. Second, data as it is may be really confusing. You would need to have the context of the data, right? So that is where comes semantic views, which is nothing but facts, dimensions, tables, roles, relationships, and sometimes also a certain path of queries to be written in a specific fashion. All of that is coming together to make semantic views. Third, semantic autopilots. What do they mean? When you come to select certain pieces, you should be able to understand which document you want to pick up, which table you want to pick up, which column or dimension you want to pick up, and that is the flexibility that we plan to give you out here in being an autopilot. Fourth, unstructured data. We talked about structured data with Cortex Analyst. That's one part. The most important second part is unstructured data, which is with the help of Cortex Search. How many of you have heard of the word RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation? Yes, 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 yes. How many of you are working on vector databases? Yes, please. Great. Thank you so much. Cortex Search is a mechanism with which you have got a document, we chunk it, we vectorize it. Snowflake also works as a vector database, folks. And after you have vectorized, we do a similarity, cosine similarity, if all of you are with me. And then we can find out that which is the best answer. So this is a lexical and a keyword search, and we can do a re-ranking on top of it. All of this is highly technical, but what I want to tell you is that we are the most efficient re-rankers out there. And then comes the third component. How do I bring in all the data? Third, how do I bring in all the data? That is with the help of open flow, with which you can now bring in from different sources, some of them which are already available and some of them which we are going to add in the next few quarters, right? So with this, you are bringing in the data. Fourth, which is you brought in data, but what about some specific numbers, demos, insights? Can I also bring that? Yes. That is Cortex knowledge extensions available on Snowflake Data Marketplace, and you can bring that data in for your AI workloads. All of that, put it together in a large pot called as Snowflake Intelligence, upload a file, do a deep analysis with a KPI, do a web search on top of your data, and use some custom tools right on top of it. Have a rich interface. You just now saw that there was a UI which was already built for you. You don't need to build it. You can ask your questions. You can have a conversation right there on the UI, and you can also provide feedback. I did not show you that there was a thumbs up and a thumbs down, and you could always download your charts and graphs which were getting populated. The last part is trust. You just now saw this happening to you, that you saw all of those graphs and charts. Where does the trust factor come from? That is, you would see that there is a green tick mark which tells you that this is coming from your data, from your tables, and this is something which you can rely on. Then comes, how do I keep my data secured? Because we have got Horizon Catalog and we have role-based access control already implemented on Snowflake. We know who has to access which data till when. So access policies, masking policies, row access controls, all of them are available on top of Snowflake, as we say. Next is user credential mapping. Which user is supposed to see what kind of data? So structured data, unstructured data. Sales agent comes in. He chooses which agent he has to work on. All those flexibility along with access is available right on the tool which you are building to make this agentic framework work better. How do I easily build? How do I observe? And how do I improve my agent? All of this comes with explainability and observability. Without these, it is very difficult for us to understand and fathom what is right and what is not. So all of that also comes in on top of Snowflake Intelligence. Every query that is running, you can see that. Every query, what is the truth, the groundedness, you can find out. So all of this coming in together, flexible interaction models. And this is what is the picture that I want you to walk away with. You would have had to take a very roundabout way. You would have had to gather your data, go to the SQL, do a RAG, get a business user adoption. But we are just directly using an astronaut and a rocket to fly you there from data to the insight in the shortest way. So this is what is Snowflake Intelligence for you guys. And this is the only picture that I want you to take away from. Rest all is demonstration, which I've already done for you. 1 minute more to go. Let me know if there are any questions. I would be happy to take them.